Hello. How are you? Okay, so tonight I have decided to do a starseed reading for the starseeded souls. And I felt a very big increase of the star energy with the eclipse and all of that. We have the Lionsgate coming up, so I know that the starseeds out there are feeling the shifts or feeling the intense energies, and everybody's dealing with it in their own ways. Some people are rising and, doing their work and shining brightly. I do feel some are having a little bit of fear, or there's like some stuff out there. there's falseness being presented to people, I feel, and people are acting out of ego. Some people are acting out of ego, and they think that they're coming from a place of like higher knowledge or consciousness or something, but they're actually coming from ego. And there are some people who are in a place of fear where they're like afraid, or they're comparing themselves, or they're looking at others, or they're like saying stuff about others, like they're projecting stuff onto other people, like something maybe they've done or said or do. They're, seeing it in somebody else, so they're projecting. And then there are some who are just flat out assuming and creating false things and like giving that to other people. There's just a lot that I'm picking up on energetically, and I feel like today was one of those roller coaster rides for the starseeds. For myself, I felt like really good all day. I woke up in an amazing mood and was connecting with nature and my pups and everything. And then I went to help my sister at her place with my mother's room. I cleaned the room and reorganized it so that she can make that her room. And it felt really good just to be in there and to clear it and to clean it and to give it like new energy and new life, so that my sister's life can shift and heal and all of that. And then I had a friend drive me home, and I was just here, finally alone, and I started like picking up on this collective chaos that's out there. And the overall message, like the overall energy right now is number 3, be fearless. So the divine is in this card. It's the divine light, that beautiful white. There's the, and you see there's the the lighthouse, okay? So, and when I see that card, I see hope as well. Like that ball of light represents hope to me. We have the beacon of light up there, and we have this beautiful spirit white, wrapped in white. And so whatever has been presented to you, whatever somebody has said to you, perhaps they said something about you, and I just want to mention that 333 went by as I am reading number 3, okay? So whatever has been happening or said, or whatever you're feeling, if you're feeling like something's happened, or you're feeling like a certain way, if you're feeling fear, or if you're feeling almost too elevated, like there's a lot going on, but we need to know that the divine is there to protect us and to assist us. And it's time to be fearless in who we are. It's time to be fearless in this transformation. And it's time to have hope that the light is going to shine, and it's going to lead us on our path and our journey. And, sometimes you might get scared, or sometimes people may do things or say things that trigger you, or sometimes people may do things or say things that affect the way other people feel about you. There's a lot of stuff that happens in this world, and it's usually based out of fear, and it can be resentment, it can be jealousy. I've been having a lot of different vibrations coming off of people lately, and it's been building and getting worse over over the time, and it's with certain things and certain places and certain energies and certain like ways that people perceive stuff, rather than realizing like, oh, there's a reason for this or there's a reason for that. People sometimes go into this like victim mode, or they go into this place of feeling like they're being attacked, or that there's like some ulterior motive, or somebody has taken on a belief about another person and then tries to like pass that on to others. But the big message that's coming in right now is just be fearless and to shine your divine light and to shine your divine truth, and just know and trust that Spirit's got your back and is leading you through this transformation to wherever you're supposed to be. So if you're no longer resonating with certain things, or if there's been changes happening as 555 goes by in your reality, just know that you're on your path doing what you've got to do for your highest good. And just trust that. And don't worry about what others say or do, or maybe what they think about you or somebody else, or, don't allow others to affect your world and your reality. Allow yourself to be fearless in knowing and hoping that your divine light, your beacon of light is true, and it's taking you where you're supposed to be, regardless of how anybody else feels about it, or regardless of how anybody else perceives it to be, and even regardless of how you perceive it to be. If you're in a place of fear about where you're headed, or if you're in a place of fear of that somebody said something about you, or if you're in a place of fear that somebody is angry with you, or that somebody is jealous, or somebody is resentful, or if you're holding resentment, or you're jealous, or you're angry, whatever it is, it's time to drop it and just move forward. There's no reason to hold on to that stuff. If somebody, like for me lately, if somebody triggers me, or if I know they're not authentic and I know they're not real and they're coming from like a fake place, I just have been unfollowing them, unfriending them, moving myself away, and staying on my divine path, in my divine truth, trusting the light. If something's been illuminated to me, or if I've been shown something that doesn't resonate, or if I've picked up on that vibration of, okay, something's transformed here and this no longer resonates, I've just been following that call to move away from it, and I'm trusting my divine path to unfold in the way that it's supposed to, and to not allow for those vibrations to rattle me anymore. In the past, I may have been somebody who would reach out and try to like fix things, or, come from that insecure place, or come from that unknowing place, or try to look beyond certain things, or pretend like certain things weren't there, certain things didn't exist. And I no longer do that. And that's because I don't have that fear attached to it anymore. Like, when you're and it's actually funny because I've seen this coming up. I actually saw this come up today. Somebody was referring to like when they were in high school or when they were in junior high. And when you're back in that time, like, you wanted to have a certain shoe, you wanted to have a certain this, you wanted to hang out with a certain person, and you wanted to sit at a certain table and sit in a certain place of a bus. And it was all about what other people saw in you, and all of this material bullshit, ego. And everybody fed into it, and everybody, followed somebody. And I feel like that's coming up again. It's like they're wanting to be liked, or they're wanting to be accepted, or they're, changing who they really are. You could talk to them one day and they say, oh, this, and this. And then you talk to them 2 weeks later with the same topic, and they've had a completely different thing about it. And then there's people who like, oh yeah, I agree with that. Oh yeah, I agree with that. No matter what is being said. Because there's that fear of not being liked, or not being like coddled, or protected by your, falseness, by this mask. So I really feel the message is like, you know what? It's time to take off the mask. Allow this divine transformation to happen. Trust your light, trust your beacon that is in front of you to navigate where you're really supposed to be. And don't be afraid of what anybody else thinks, says, or does. Just allow your life to unfold and allow you to love yourself and to like do and say and be who you are. So that's going to lead us here, because I have a lot of cards here. For the overall energy, we have 35, walk your truth. So it's connected there, you know. This is telling you it's time to walk your divine truth. Blue is connected to your throat chakra. It's that place of communication. How are you communicating in this world? How are you communicating to yourself? How are you communicating with others? Are you putting up a fake energy? Are you putting up like a hand length away and not letting people all the way in because you're afraid that they might see something that they don't like? You need to drop that and walk your truth. And it's number 35. If we add that up, we get the 8. And the 8 leads you into that infinite abundance and connection and understanding and expansion. So when you're fearless and you walk in your truth, it leads you to that abundance. It leads you to where you're meant to be on your path. When you drop the bullshit 3D, this one thinks this or that, you know, I need to do this, or in order for this to be a certain way, I have to have that. And no, you just have to be you. And the people that show up around you are going to reflect that. So if the people that are showing up around you aren't feeling good, or you're not really resonating, or you have to hide who you really are, or you don't feel secure, or you feel like you have to be a certain way, then you're not walking your truth, and you're living in fear. And so it's time to change that. And this can be in regards to all different things, but this overall message is drop that bullshit. Drop whatever's not serving you, and be fearless about it, and know that you're being illuminated on this path for a certain reason. You may have a transformation inside of you urging you to like just change from being like, you know, somebody who eats meat to wanting to be a vegan. Or you may have some sort of change inside of you that's like, you know what, today I'm never going to drink again, or, you know, I'm going to stop doing this, or whatever it is. Like, you may be having all of these types of transformations and these things coming up inside of you, and that can incite fear as well, because it's things that you've hung on to that weren't serving you. But that's not your divine truth, because your divine truth is just being you in the way that you want to like represent you. And by you being that fearless, transforming, beautiful person who walks in their truth, and by you bringing in that energy of truth and those who are going to surround you and support you, who recognize that light and don't care what's underneath the light, it gets easier, and you raise in your vibration, and you want to continue to change for yourself, not for them, because you know no matter how you change, they're still going to be there, because you're in alignment with yourself, and you're rising, and you're doing what you're supposed to do. And the next card that we had come out is answer the call. What is your soul calling you to do? So again, what is your soul calling for you to do right now? And again, that could be connected to how you're treating yourself, what you're thinking about yourself, what you're feeling when you're with other people, what you feel when you go to bed at night and you think about your day, or what you feel when you think about your life and how it's being led, you know, or think about the things that have been happening to you recently. What is that a reflection of? And if there's been things that have been happening around you that were difficult or that were life-changing, be fearless as you navigate through that, because you know that it had to happen for your life to change and to go into a new direction. So we really need to listen to what your soul is telling you to do. If your soul is telling you to reach out to somebody, or your soul is telling you to walk away from somebody, or if your soul is telling you that you need to speak your truth to someone, or if your soul is telling you that somebody is trying to lead you away from the light, or your soul is telling you to just change something simple within your reality. It doesn't matter. It's time to rise. Put down the fear. Listen to the truth that's inside of you and follow your path to where you want to go, because you're birthing a new age. There's new creations and dreaming a new world into being. So we've been building up to this. All of this energy, all of these changes, all of these shifts, it's all been designed, it's all been a part of your life, it's all been leading to this now moment. And it's always going to be changing and shifting and transforming. But you have to listen to your soul. You have to listen to that voice inside of you and be fearless about it. If you're not resonating with where you are or who you are or what you're doing, you've got to listen to that soul inside of you and birth that new age. Create that new life. Dream the new world into being for yourself and others. Because it starts inside of you. You know, you have to be your truest version of yourself and be in that vibration of love for yourself. Listen to what you actually want and ripple that out and be that way shower to show others on this path of loving and accepting and dropping the ego and dropping the fear and just allowing themselves to transform and shift the world that they live within. And when they do that, others are able to do it too. And when you overcome an obstacle or you handle some horrible situation or loss or grief, or you have something just pulling you and tearing at your heart, and you look around and you see who's there and who's not, that also assists you in birthing a new age for yourself, birthing a new reality for yourself, and realizing who's really there for you and who's really there for themselves, or who's really going to show up. You know, there's a lot of stuff that's been happening, and I feel like a lot of people have been affected by it a lot. And some people are being triggered a lot. They're worried, they're scared, they're nervous. You know, they don't want to lose something, or they don't want something to change, so they just stay stuck. And they don't listen to their soul in regards to this thing that they're thinking of. And they don't start to allow that new creation to be birthed into this world. And instead of dreaming a new world into being of alignment and happiness and fearless, they end up focusing on those fears or those things that they're afraid of, or those doubts about themselves, or what somebody might have done or said, or somebody might not like me, or whatever. It's time to let all of that go, because the more you think about it and the more you focus on it, the more you create that. The more separation you create, the more fear you create, the more separation from your soul. You go down that path of darkness instead of following the light. And the other card is compassion. And again, it's really connected with your throat too. We have a lot of the throat chakra energy coming through this. So you have to have compassion for your truth. You have to communicate to yourself with compassion about what your truth is. Nobody here is perfect. Nobody. Nobody has all the answers. Nobody is ever done healing and transforming and shifting and birthing a new age. It gets easier as you go through it when you come from a place of compassion for yourself and you are in that fearless energy as you navigate through the bullshit, and you navigate through the fake people, and you navigate through the fake places, and you navigate through the fake aspects of yourself, and you drop those walls, and you speak your truth, and you allow that truth to vibrate out and to ripple out and to bring back to you those who actually resonate, support, and love you. And that can be a difficult journey for some people. Some people don't want to let go of certain things, or they don't want to have to do certain work. So they stay complacent. And then they talk badly about themselves to themselves. And then they talk badly about themselves to others. and then others see them badly. And then others speak badly of them. And then there's some who are speaking compassionately to themselves. There are some who are, trying to do this compassionate, understanding love for others. And some are rising, and they are being targeted, or, there's those out there who get triggered by them, or they compare themselves to them. And that has to stop too. If you're comparing yourself to somebody else, if you're comparing your light to another, you're not coming from compassion for yourself, you're coming from a comparison. And again, none of us are alike. None of us are going to be on the same journey. We're never going to share the same exact frequency or vibration. And so however you're shifting and changing, wherever you're at, it doesn't matter if you're looking at somebody and thinking, oh, they're up higher and I'm up down here. That's not true. Because they're just on a different journey. And you need to focus on your journey and your truth, and birthing what you need, the next step, and doing it from the place of compassion for yourself. And if you are being triggered by others, stop looking. And if you are being, if you're seeing stuff that you hadn't seen before, stop looking. Or look at it, realize what it is, separate yourself from it, and then stop looking. Because some people get into this horrible rolling of, I can't stand this, I can't stand this, I can't stand this. Yet they look at it and look at it and look at it, or feed into it and experience and experience and experience. And it just causes this horrible ache inside of you, and you're not speaking your truth. And then I asked for the energy of the headspace. And we have number 8, choices. So I feel like the starseeds are having a lot of choices to make right now. And I feel like a lot of it is in connection to your basic needs and to your survival, into that energy of the serpent, or that 3D world. Where am I going to live? Where am I going to do this? How am I going to get this? How am I going to do that? There's a lot of that going on. And there's a lot of choices there for you if you would open your eyes and see from a place of truth and compassion for yourself. Rise into that power. Allow your third eye to illuminate. Go inside of yourself. Meditate. Ask the Jaguar to assist you in crossing and realizing and connecting with the answers and the path that is there for you. Because you have infinite realities available to you in this now moment. You have infinite timelines that are there. And every vibration, every thought, every choice, every word, every action that you take affects and ripples into those timelines. And you get to be the creator, and you get to decide which of those timelines you're going to dwell within. But if you go down that path of fear and that basic need, and you're worried about survival, and you're worried about what somebody said or did or thought, or you're worried about how you appear to yourself, and if you're looking at yourself through the eyes of ego and judging yourself, those are some of the choices that you have to decide in this moment. Am I going to continue to go down this path of fear and anger and sadness? Am I going to go down this path of looking at myself like I am not good enough as who I am in this now moment? Am I going to allow fear of not having something, or not having somebody, or not being somewhere yet navigate me down a path further away from that? Or am I going to focus on what I've created in this reality, and focus on what I've been able to achieve, and focus on loving myself for who I am, and loving every step of my journey, and loving the people who are around me, supporting me, and just releasing anybody who hasn't, and releasing any fears that haven't served you? That's when you start to navigate upwards. And again, we have 8 with the infinite abundance and that connection. We have the Lion's Gate coming, and it's so important that you enter this Lion's Gate in alignment. You don't want to go in to the Galactic New Year with fear, resentment, anger, jealousy, any of it. Whether you're on the receiving end of it or whether you're on the giving end of it, it's time to get real with yourself. It's time to stop being afraid of what your truth is and get real and create that new reality. It's your choice to go through this portal to create your next year. Do you want to create a year of pain and suffering and separation and people treating you badly? Or do you want to create a year where you love yourself so much that there is no choice for the people who show up in your reality to love you the same way? And there's no choice when you're seeing your path as it is abundant in gratitude and thankful for everything that you've learned to this moment. It will allow you to have the choice to create more infinite abundance and more to learn and more to understand and more of what it is that really resonates and fires up your soul. And we have trust your path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? And so this goes along with it, and it's telling you, if you didn't have those fears, if you didn't have that blockage to following your dream or your passion, what is it that makes your heart sing? What is it that makes your soul happy? What is it that you see yourself doing? What have you dreamed about being since you were little? What have you always wanted and longed for? If you knew you could have that, and you didn't have to worry about money or what people thought or what people said, and you didn't have to worry about how you were going to get there or how it was going to happen, if it was just all presented to you, what would you do? Where would you be? How would your life look? And really see it. See all the details of the things that you really desire inside of yourself. And if you don't know, then you need to meditate and connect and figure it out. And the next card says, you're already doing it. Stop overthinking. Keep facing your true north. So again, as we're talking about this, trusting your path and knowing that you're supported, what would you do? Well, guess what? You are supported. And you're already creating that path. So you're doing it. Every moment you're the creator. You're doing it. You're supported. You're 100% supported in every moment. However, the universe supports us as what we put out. So if you're putting out a path of resistance and lower vibrations, that's what you're creating. So you've got to step into this vibration of releasing the thoughts that are keeping you from attaining what it is that you really align to. Getting connected with what is your true north. And inside of you, you know what I'm talking about. Whether it be a person, whether it be a place, whether it be something that you've always wanted, whatever it is that's been in the back of your mind and you've been thinking about it and worrying about it, it's time to allow that to be your truth, to trust it and know that you have that ability to navigate into this new chapter, into this new light, into the new truth of who you are. And don't apologize for it. Don't feel bad for it. Just allow yourself to shine and be who you really are. And as you do that, the right people will show up to support you. The universe will deliver to you all the things that you've wanted, all the things that you've dreamed about. When you can trust and know and see it as it is already here, you give it that energy to become. When you release the fear and the anger and the sadness and the grief and the things that have held you back, and you stop beating yourself up and stop blaming other people, you open that new chapter of expansion and abundance, and you move into the light and into your truth, into your happiness, and things just continue to move up. And yeah, days may fall and crumble a little bit. Some days may be harder than others, but it's a matter of what you choose to reflect on It's a matter of how you see yourself in those things, in those bad moments. Are you rising through them, or are you allowing them to hold you back? Are you allowing the fear to keep you from stepping into the light? And then we have what we need to know. And so number 2 came out, balance. So I feel that this is a message that we need to balance a lot. The first message is balancing the divine feminine and masculine energies inside of yourself. Feeling confident, but able to nurture. Feeling powerful and loving. Embracing both aspects of yourself. And seeing both of those inside of yourself. Like, I see people all the time. They limit themselves because they think that they can't do something because they're not somebody. And men and women both do it. They think that they can't accomplish a task because they're not a girl. Or they think they can't accomplish something because they're not a guy. And they place power somewhere outside of themselves instead of realizing that they have it in them. There is nothing on this planet that you cannot do. If somebody else can do it, so can you. There's no reason. That's what I've told myself my entire life. I really don't see that I've ever failed at anything. I've always succeeded because I always went into it knowing that if they can do it, so can I. It might take me longer to get there. It might be a little bit of a journey. I might have to learn a lot, but I know I can do it. And I trust that. So we need to balance that inside of ourselves. Don't be intimidated by changing a flat tire. Don't be intimidated by picking up a screwdriver. Don't be intimidated by, washing the dishes or cooking or cleaning or whatever it is, however you perceive it. So people always say like, oh, that's a guy's job or that's a girl's job. No, it's not. It's your job to trust yourself enough to know that you have all the skills, knowledge, and energy inside of you to accomplish all the things that you want. And the other balance that is coming in is that we need to start balancing more of our emotions. If you start feeling down, angry, sad, whatever, you need to take a time out and to connect and bring yourself back up. Do the things that you know that are going to bring your vibration up. If it's meditation, if it's sound healing, if it's going for a walk outside, if it's doing something with your hands, if it's going to the beach, do it. Allow yourself to have that balance. If you need a nap, take a nap. And it's also a balance of darkness and light. Because without the darkness, we wouldn't know the light. And without the duality here, we wouldn't be experiencing what we're experiencing here. And so we need to stop running from the darkness. We need to stop running from those fears and that doubt and go inwards and face it and find where it came from and heal so that you can balance it, so that there's not an over accumulation of fear or doubt or shadow inside of you eating up all the light. Allow the light to shine brighter and to see that darkness and to realize what that darkness has done for you. And to allow it to just kind of ripple back and forth in that infinite pattern. Seeing the infinity symbol flowing into the darkness and into the light, and knowing that anything that arises will shift, and any of those dark moments will turn back to light, and you'll be able to see and understand it. You'll understand and you'll be able to balance it. And we have the age of light. You've been training for this for lifetimes. So, again, it's taming that darkness. It's bringing that balance. And it's allowing that light inside of you to shine, to heal the karma, to heal the genetic, to heal the history of this planet, to heal what is happening on the planet before it happens, to heal consciousness, and to remind those that they have this power inside of them to create, to change, to make a shift, to heal this planet, and to heal the beings on it. And you've had this information inside of you all along. You trained before you came here. And you came here and you went through the amnesia and you don't remember. You don't remember your past lives. You don't remember where you're from. But the light comes in and starts to show you. The light comes in and awakens you. This is the bottom of the deck. 1, 11, 11. It's that awakening. It's that, hey, we're talking to you. Pay attention. And it's that call to be fearless and to trust that light and to follow that synchronicity. And as you follow that synchronicity and you balance the darkness and you start to create this new age, you birth this age of light, you begin to heal all of the beings here, all of the things here, all of the stuff inside of you. It all begins to shift. And if you've been being affected by all of this in a negative way, or you haven't been feeling balanced, or you've been feeling chaotic, or you've had these fears rising inside of you, if you're just not resonating how you feel you should, or if you're worried about something, it's time to get grounded. Because we're all feeling it. We're all going through stuff. We're all experiencing ups and downs, darkness and light. We're going back and forth. There's some people here who just don't understand or get it, and there's some people here who are so innately connected. And if you're connected and you're hurting, you need to get grounded, because it's likely you're that empath, you're that sensitive person. You need to connect with nature. You need to see yourself grounding into the heart of Mother Earth and giving her all of the stuff that isn't serving you. It's so that you can anchor that light here into the planet and do your mission. So many of the starseeds don't want to ground because they don't want to come down to Earth. They want to stay up in this cloud. They want to forget that they're here in the 3D. They want to escape. But that doesn't serve you. And when you're up there in that energy and you're not really in your body, that's when you start having the stuff, the darkness, the fears, the doubts, the self-sabotage. That's when you start being jealous or triggered, because you're not in your body. You're not in the place of like being protected and grounded. You're up there floating around, feeling everybody's shit, and you're not clearing yourself off, and you're not cutting your cords. You're not meditating. You're not doing the work. And so you're affected by it, and your thoughts are affected by it. Your vibration is affected by it, and your reality is affected by it. So how can you birth this new age of light if you're not grounding the light into the earth? And again, 26 gives us 8. And it's all part of your sacred journey. This is an infinite journey. You've been on this journey for many lifetimes. You've been on this journey since creation, since the light was born, since darkness became. Since the beginning of time, you've been on this journey. You've been shifting. You've been healing. You've been experiencing. You've been traveling. And you signed up to come here. And you signed up to be a part of this sacred journey with others. So you need to be grounded and rooted in that foundation that's going to shift and assist you. It's the ever unfolding rose. When it's cracked open, you're reminding that it's happening for you, not to you. This journey is happening for you, not to you. You're no longer a victim. The darkness isn't there to target you. The fears that you have inside of you, it's time to release them and to realize that every petal, every part of the rose, it's all connected. And when you realize it's happening for you, when it's blooming and blossoming, even when it's wilting and falling, it's going to be reborn. It's going to come back. It's going to be a seed again. It's going to start to grow. It's going to have new petals and new life. and it will connect with other life in the energy, with the particles, the materials, will travel to other places and other parts of this world. And it's all connected. And there's so much happening. And even the movement of a bee from one petal to another affects the whole. And it's your understanding of that, your realization of how powerful you are, how powerful the flower is, how powerful this journey is. When you realize how much power you have inside of you to create, that's when it really begins to unfold. And that's when you get to realize this is all happening as it's supposed to. And you don't have to fight it anymore. You can just flow. You can just allow yourself to go into the world. Now I'm seeing the bottom of the deck as Priestess. How are you being called to step up and lead? I think that's perfect. And it has all the lions. I feel the lion energy coming through, the lion's gate. How are you being called to step up and lead? What is it inside of you that you're feeling pulled to or drawn to? What is it inside of you that you're being pulled away from? Rise up into that higher wisdom and knowledge, trusting that it's all part of this journey, and realize that you are not the victim. There is nobody out to get you. And you don't have to compare yourself to anybody else. And you don't have to put yourself anywhere you don't want to be. You have the free will to create and to heal and to expand, to enjoy every moment of this journey. You need to ground, because this is part of your mission, to step up and lead and to ground that light here, to ground that new awakened knowledge, and to be fearless in those transformations, because the age of light is coming and you've been training. It's all inside of you. And when you're feeling that darkness, bring in more of the light so that you can bring that new chapter, because you're already doing it. It's time to stop having the fears. Stop thinking that you're not doing good enough. Just face your truth and trust your path. You are supported. So do what you feel guided to do. What are the choices that are laid out in front of you? Realize that they're infinite. There's infinite choices for you in every moment. And that you get to be the dictator. But you have to talk to yourself through compassion, and you have to be compassionate for others too. It doesn't mean that you can't not like somebody or not resonate with something or not, always feel 100% love for something. But you have to have the compassion to not send daggers or to think negatively or to feed into it. If you find that you don't resonate with something or somewhere or somebody, don't feed into that darkness. Don't send those daggers. Just cut and release. And do it with compassion and understanding. When I stop resonating with somebody or I see something in somebody, I think of why that may be, and I have compassion for that person, because I know that it's stemming from somewhere. It's coming from a fear, or it's coming from resentment, or it's coming from insecurity. It's coming from being hurt. So we have to have compassion. It doesn't mean we have to like them, but we can have that compassion and have the compassion for ourselves to not feed into it and to just release yourself and to cut the cords and to heal. And that is part of birthing this new age, birthing the new creations in the new world, where you don't exist within that vibration of fear or lack or anger. Answer the call of your soul. Walk your truth and awaken others. It's time for you all to lead, to go into this next energy, into this new galactic year, positive and in abundant light, to create and transform. So I hope that you all have a beautiful night and that you are able to rise and expand. If you would like to get your own reading, you can email me at divinessential@gmail.com. In Mune, Namaste.